Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, good news is, inshallah, we are opening the extended prayer area for the brothers, inshallah, tonight. So it will be available for you to pray. But you will notice that there is a different style of carpet. It is a temporary carpet because this carpet is no longer available. So inshallah, we are making the arrangements. So you will see a couple of deficiencies, but inshallah, area will be available for you for the prayer, inshallah, and we'll make it right, inshallah, in next couple of weeks. Jazakumullah khair.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the effect of shaitan. The effect of shaitan on a human being's mind, on a human being's body is real. I want everyone to understand this. This is real stuff. When we talk about shayateen and jinn and the history that started from Babylon, the Quran speaks about it. When two angels came down and taught people magic and taught them that they were a fitna, they were a trial. And so some from the jinn and some from the humans felt intrigued to know this knowledge. For they felt that they can change or control the destiny of other people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given us a way to gain from Him and His treasures. And I can promise you, the amount of time and effort people exhort towards gaining the shayateen's companionship to harm others is twice, if not more effort than one would do to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The path to Allah is very simple. It is us as Muslims, in light of our culture or our understanding, that have made this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala difficult. I'm bringing up shayateen because, and I'm not talking about magic tonight, Halloween is over. We're going to talk about why we are affected by shayateen. Shayateen aren't a creation of their own. As the Quran says, shayateen al-insi wal-jinni yuhi ba'duhum ila ba'din zukhruf al-qawli ghurura. There's humans and jinns that are of the devilish nature, that like to incite these type of problems. Now they are out to do what they want to do, and you and I cannot do anything to stop them. It's a fact. But what we can do is prevent their effect on us. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand where I'm going? We're talking about a reality here. And we're not anyone to control them. We are no one to guide them or to change them. There's too many of them. But what we can do is minimize their impact and effect on us. And it's with two ways. One is if we address the lax nature that we have when it comes to tahara and cleanliness. There's something they have to connect to. And whatever they have to connect to is unseen. You may have Wi-Fi in the masjid, but when you walk out to the parking lot, there's no longer Wi-Fi. What, did a cable get pulled, snatched, yanked, or stepped on? There is no cable. It's an unseen thing, signal, that you have gone outside of its zone, and thus that signal is no longer available. You don't have to see it. Has anyone seen Wi-Fi signals? Anyone, please? Tell me. MashaAllah. I thought I was the only one. So you can't see this stuff. In a similar fashion, you and I cannot see what our lax nature when it comes to impurities may do to us. But it's real. We talked about last week about bathroom. And I ended just before the completion of the topic, which was, of course, once you relieve yourself. The Sunnah teaches us, relieve yourself. Meaning, sit down as long as you need to relieve yourself. It's not a pit stop for the Formula One or NASCAR. They talk about seconds, 4.6 seconds, 7 seconds, change a tire, fill up the tank, and off you go. It's not like that. Bathroom needs its time. When we are lax in relieving ourselves, we allow impurities to remain on us. Not in us, on us. It drops on our body, it drops on our leg, it drops on our clothing. And guess what? You've opened up a portal, a way for that Wi-Fi signal to get into you. You understand what the Wi-Fi signal is now? That's the shayateen. Because they're sniffing out where they can touch. They're looking for who they can mess with. It's their life. It's like I haven't seen it here in Dallas yet, but back home countries, people hang out by the corners of the street. They're looking for some mischief, They're looking to pick on someone or taunt someone. They have nothing else to do, unfortunately. So shaitan are looking for that. You need to understand the importance of relieving yourself, and that's why we ended with a hadith that Isha radiallahu ta'ala anha said that if anyone told you that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not relieve himself sitting down, don't believe them. Sit down and use it. SubhanAllah, just before Isha tonight, I said I need to use the bathroom. We have 4 bathrooms here. Every single one was filthy. You couldn't sit. There was water everywhere. And sometimes we say, Imam, explain that to children. They do that. I don't buy all of that. Yes, some instances are children, some instances are adults. When you put your pants down, and let me explain to impurity, there's a drop of urine in a bowl of cereal and milk. Would you eat it? It's a drop, just one drop. Anyone? There's a drop of ice cream in a gallon of, there's a drop of urine in a gallon of ice cream. Would you eat it? Why? Because you understand it contaminates the whole. When we have impurities on the floor and our pants are touching the ground, our clothes are touching the ground, our socks. Many people walk in and out of the bathroom with their socks. Now, if those impurities are there on the ground, guess what? You touched it, it's on your body now. And you're going to walk out of the bathroom, you're taking it with you. You're going to walk into the wudu area with those socks, you've brought those impurities with you. A person who just did wudu is walking out with clean feet, is taking those impurities with them. This is real stuff. So make sure that we cleanse ourselves and keep the area clean. When we exit the bathroom, the most simple thing to do is what every restaurant has written in the bathroom for their employees. What is that? Wash your hands. Look at this. I said lax. We're being lax on these things. People today don't even think washing their hands is important. SubhanAllah. You're going to the bathroom. Wash your hands because you don't want a single micro drop of impurity to be the signal for shaitan. This is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. Today we want to cover one topic very shortly, and that is taking a shower or a ghusl. Now, many of our fiqh literature of jurisprudence, regardless of the school of thought, revolves around the olden tradition. Because in those days it was buckets and water, and nowadays we have showers. Keeping that in mind, when a person goes to the bathroom and then jumps into the shower. Let me tell you what's going on here. A person goes into the bathroom, jumps into the shower, and turns on the shower. Hand was dirty. Turn on the shower. They're washing themselves. They're spreading the dirt. Ultimately, it's going to wash down. But then when they finish, they close the shower. See where I'm going? And then they put on the towel. And they rub themselves. And they wipe their face. Impurities travel like this. We have to do our utmost best to push shaitan away from us. So the Prophet ﷺ sunnah is exactly that. Keep yourself in a zone, and I'll tell you what zone that is. Moving forward, washing both your hands is what was taught by our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Wash your hands first. If your hand is dirty, go wash it in the sink first by using the back of your hand. Open the faucet by the back of your hand. Wash your hands, dry them, and then go into the shower. When a person has a ghusl janaba, something is very important to talk about. A a sister or a brother who, due to a major impurity, now has to take a shower. Nowadays, there's two things to shower. Just jump in the shower or jump into the tub. If you jump into the bathtub, you know that the sauna tub that everyone has in their bathrooms, in the master bathroom, you do not cleanse yourself. You cannot cleanse yourself. It is water that's recycling itself on you. Impurities has already contaminated that water, and it's constantly flushing yourself. So never take a bath in those things. This is a European tradition. It goes back to England and so on and so forth. When you go in the shower, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, according to the hadith of Maymuna radiallahu ta'ala anha, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam took a bath to exit the state of major ritual impurity, which is known as janaba. He washed his hands, of course we talked about that. Then he washed his private parts with his hand and then rubbed his hand on the wall. He then washed his hand and performed wudu as he would for salah. When he finished taking a bath, he would wash his feet. Now what's happening here? The Prophet ﷺ knew that even where he was cleansing himself, he didn't want that contamination to flow. So when he cleansed his body parts where there was discharge, semen, or anything else, he made sure he washed it with his hand. And of course, there was nowhere else because it's one bucket. He would rub it on the wall to remove any impurity. So as I said, when we become lax on these things, we're making ourselves susceptible for these things. So in another hadith of Maymuna radiallahu ta'ala anha, she says, I poured water for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for his bath. And she said she watched him. He poured water onto his left hand with his right hand, which is basically it's a bucket. He took his left hand and pushed it to his right hand. He washed it. Then he took his left hand and he washed his right hand. And then from there, he washed his private parts. Then he rubbed his hand on the ground. And then he washed it. Then he rinsed his mouth and cleansed his nose with water. After that, he washed his face and poured water over his head. Then he moved to one side and washed his feet. He was given a towel to dry himself, but he did not use it. Another problem we're finding here is washing the feet. Many a times the water in some showers are stagnant. So it's imperative that before you step out, especially after janaba ghusl, a ghusl that's required in Islam, that you wash your foot before you step out, because those impurities have now mixed in the water and you need to cleanse yourself and step out without stepping back inside. So going through these things that we just talked about, it's good to perform wudu. Washing the entire body is important. It is necessary. You cannot miss a single hair on your body. Not a single hair. According to the hadith of Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he reports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever misses a spot the width of a hair when bathing, from major ritual impurity and fails to wash it, such and such will be done with that person in the fire. May Allah protect us all. Ameen. Why are there such great warnings? This is hadith in Sunan Abi Dawud, hadith number 249. Why is it such a big thing? You are doing something right. You're washing yourself after janaba, and you are failing to wash one hair, and he's saying something will happen to that person in Jahannam. Why? Because we don't understand the after effects we're putting ourselves in. So he gave those warnings to allow us to understand, be meticulous when you take shower and wash your whole body. How would the Prophet ﷺ wash his hair? He would put water on his fingers, and then he would massage the roots of his hairs with them. And then he would pour water over himself. Two more things. Once a person takes a bath, a ghusl, there is no need to perform wudu after it. There is a cultural ritual that has come to America from Southeast Asia. That is that if you take a shower and you go put your clothes on, since you were exposed and you had no clothes on, thus when you put your clothes on, go make wudu again. By changing your clothes or being in a state that you are naked in private, in the bathroom or in the bedroom, does not break your wudu. Rather, making purity, once you have purity, is called wasting water. So Isha radiallahu ta'ala says, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not perform wudu after taking a bath. The last point. We talk about when they had internet, when the internet came out, you had Norton antivirus. Did anyone see a pharmacy close by where the antivirus was coming from, where the prescription medicine was coming from? You see Microsoft firewall. Do you see a firewall? No, you don't see that stuff, right? But it's there to protect you. Let me tell you one of the biggest things many are doing that is losing that protection. Never urinate in the bathtub. Hadith of Abdullah ibn Mughaffal radiyallahu anhu reports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed, none of you should urinate in his bathing area and then bathe there or perform wudu there, for a majority of devilish insinuations are due to this. Where you're going to become pure, shaitan is trying to make you impure. When you go to the bathroom, shaitan is there. When you go to make wudu, shaitan is there. So when we learned about wudu, and I end with this, we learned about wudu in the beginning of this journey, that when a person does wudu and says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And then there's the dua, Allahumma ja'alni min at-tawwabina, wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin, wa ja'alni min ibadika as-salihin. It is said the 8 doors of paradise open for that individual. Subhanallah. In my class I was teaching over the weekend, I said this, that if you look at all the virtues of purity and staying in the state of purity, staying in the state of purity doesn't mean just making wudu, but it also means protecting yourselves from the impurities touching you. You are now in the firewall with the protection of Allah's antivirus system. Nothing can touch you. So looping back, shaitans will do what they do. They've been doing it all along. The question is, their effect on us is more today than ever before because of 2 things. Our thought that we don't need to stay in a state of purity, and number 2, we become lax with impurity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to keep clean at all times. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to stay in the state of wudu at all times. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to protect ourselves from the impurities of the bathroom. And may Allah protect us from any impurities in the shower. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. There's a request for dua. Brother Mustafa Misri, brother of Abdullah Misri, is undergoing a critical surgery tonight in Hyderabad, India. The brother requests for dua for his recovery. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Shafi al-Marda, Ya Kafi al-Hajat, Adhib al-Ba's Rabbi al-Nas, Washfi anta Shafi, La shifa illa shifa'uk, shifa'an la yughadiru saqama. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah, wal-mu'afata al-da'imata fi dinina wa dunyana wa akhiratina. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ونعوذ بك اللهم من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين جزاكم الله خير. So if you're coming for prayer and you have doubt if you have wudu or not, you follow aghlabud dhan, where the most of your doubt isn't. So if you're saying, I think I have wudu, like 70%, but 30% of you says I don't, you just go with the 70%. And if it's like you really don't know, you're 50-50, just go make wudu. But if it becomes a systematic trend, you need to start ignoring that, because that happens from shaitan. He starts putting doubt in us, and the last thing you want to do is succumb to his doubt, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.